Hello, everybody. Well, today is June 20, and you know what that means, or do you? You may be thinking, well, let's see. June 20, that's the day before summer begins, June 21. It's true, but that's not what I'm thinking about. You may be thinking, well, it's the second longest day of the year. Also true, but also not what I'm thinking about. What I'm thinking about is this. June 20 is World Refugee Day, the day that we are asked to pause and think about the plight of refugees around the world and how we might help them. Now, this topic of refugee has been on my mind a lot recently because of a book I'm reading. It's a really good book. It's called The Last Green Valley. Very well written. I'm about halfway through it. It's set in 1944 at the very end of World War II, and it's about a family, an extended family living in Ukraine, and they are caught in the pincers of military action. From the West, the Red Army, the Soviet Army, Stalin's army, is moving in on them. And on the East, you have the Nazi army, Hitler's army, defending ground against the Soviets. And this family is caught in the middle, so much so that their home becomes uninhabitable, and they join thousands of others who trek away from their homes, leave their homes behind forever, and become refugees looking for a place of safety. It's a very, very well-written book. And also, at least in the first half, it's not entirely enjoyable. You see, there's not much in the book that happens that makes you smile or laugh. Mainly, it's a description of misery, of discomfort, of fear as this family treks into the unknown. And the truth is, not much has changed for the plight of the refugees since 1944. The refugees around the world who are running from war, running from famine, running from all types of devastation, well, they're running into uncertainty, and they're traveling in great misery and discomfort and often pain. And it has something to do with us. Now, we look around Dothan, we don't see a lot of refugees, do we? But historically, we are connected to them. We trace our roots back to the Hebrew nation, and it was the Hebrew nation, led by Moses, that fled Egypt and the oppression there and became, for 40 years, refugees, living in tents, living a nomadic life, a life of great discomfort. We trace our lineage back to our Lord Jesus. And remember, in Matthew, we learned that Jesus, Joseph, and Mary, the Holy Family, became themselves refugees when they fled to Egypt to avoid the wrath of Herod and lived there for several years as aliens in a foreign land, as refugees. And let's be honest, for you and me, if we were to search far enough back in our ancestry, most of us would find that our ancestors came to these shores, came to this country before it was a country, fleeing some situation in another land, came as refugees. And finally, we are commanded by our God to care about these refugees. I'm going to read a verse to you from Leviticus. This is Leviticus chapter 19, verse 34. The alien who resides with you, the alien is the refugee, the alien who resides with you shall be to you as the citizen among you. You shall love the alien as yourself, for you were aliens in the land of Egypt. I am the Lord your God. So what can we do? Well, if we encounter refugees personally, we can help them. but also we can help financially. There are any number of wonderful agencies and groups that work to relocate and assist refugees. Two that come to mind are the Episcopal Relief and Development Fund. If you want to assist folks through the Episcopal Church, that's the best way to do it. And the second is a wonderful group called Doctors Without Borders. And there are many, many others. But today, let's begin by this. Let's begin by pausing for just a moment, counting our blessings that we are not refugees, and thinking about our history that traces back to refugees, and think about how we might help those in this world who are in such dire circumstances, how we might love our neighbor as ourselves. I hope you have a great week, and I look forward to seeing you on Sunday.